Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing good. So, today we will be starting off with the presentation and then our demo for our project Time Attendance and Access Control System, which is basically kind of a HR solution. This project was worked on by Naufal Ahmed, myself, Jahaze, Arsalan Daniel, Rohan Faruqi, and Ahmed Tariq. We had our advisors as Ms. Tasbih Fatma and Dr. Muhammad Saeed. So moving on, we'll first give you a bit of an intro about what the project is about and how we actually use hardware devices to focus on our attendance part. So basically, the thing is that we have input devices as biometric scanners and facial recognition tools, which actually focus on allowing us to mark attendances and also manage access control. Access control mainly focuses on allowing people in a specific room for a specific time and as per the credentials they hold. We have a web app which is basically focusing on an admin who can actually use the web app and manage and control or do all the CRUD operations as per the modules, which we'll see further in a demo. And we also have a user side web app, which allows the user to actually get some details, request for a leave, and as well as get their car parking QR code. Moving on, our project TAACS is focused on revolutionizing HR operations by automating time attendance and access control. The problems that we were actually majorly focusing on were actually the lack of integration in devices and current solutions. There is inadequate real time monitoring and alerts, and the user experience is not that easy. Mostly users, when they come to a HR solution, they mainly feel overwhelmed by the complex UI. So we focused on a part of creating a new design which focuses on simplicity and as well as easy to use and a self-explanatory UI UX. Moving on, the features that we have in our solution is comprehensive management, in which we can manage attendances, we can manage employees, we can manage their payroll and their bonuses, we can manage employees' leave, and we can also manage visitors. So when you talk about visitors, certain times, certain people are visiting companies. So our system, our project has that feature ability as well. Furthermore, the access control is based on biometrics, facial recognition, and also on fingerprint and as well as RFID cards. We have facility management, which actually is based on two things, which is parking and room bookings. And then we have emergency controls. These controls are basically protocols which are self-defined by the admin and they can be implemented in case of any emergency that wakes up. And we have an analytics feature which actually focuses on business analytics, business intelligence, and reporting for the company, which can be later on used by the company. Moving on, the technology stack that we have focused on is front end. We are using Svelte. Our database is MongoDB, and our backend is running on Node.js, while our APIs that connect and talk to the devices are basically RESTful. So, further on, if we go towards the system architecture, our devices are mainly desktops and mobile devices, which could be laptops. We have facial recognition terminals. Our server is running on Node. The database is on MongoDB. Our communication protocols are HTTP and HTTPS. We have WebSockets implemented. We have our core functionalities. The process flow that we can actually see is basically based on when a user comes into a building, into a company, the user shows their face. The terminal captures the face and verifies if that user is allowed to go at that time. And if it's the authentic user that needs to visit the company and is allowed in the company, the attendance is recorded and the confirmation is displayed in terms of live data. We have the data updated in our employee management system. The another thing that we have is payroll and bonuses, which can be updated as per the admin's need or requirement. We have a visitor management module, which is also based on either the visitor is requested by the admin or the visitor is requested by the user. Then we have the facility management, which actually focuses on room bookings and parkings, which can be used created from the users, the admin side. And based on the capacity and whatever protocols that are set, these can be implemented. So moving on, the impact that our project creates is basically enhancing productivity by automating such HR tasks. And it also focuses on reducing the operational cost, which actually is based on capital and time as well. The security is very much improved with real-time monitoring, which allows live updates, live people who are entering the building, and the access control module is well maintained, which focuses that no other user, no other person can enter the any specific room or the building based on the access that is allowed. Our acknowledgements were basically by LinkedIn Innovatives Director and Time Tracks co-founder. We actually got a project reviewed by them and they gave us a good response and a good acknowledgement over the project. So now we will be moving towards our demo, and Rohan alongside me will be sharing about how their demo is. Rohan, can you sign out and we can show the whole featureability with the implementation of logging in? So basically, when we talk about the login, we have an admin login, we have an admin sign up as well. So currently, as the credentials are already made, this is a don't have. If you don't have an account, you can create an admin account, and we'll now log in with an admin account. So once we log in, the first thing that we see is a dashboard. This primary dashboard is basically focusing on the fact of the KPIs and the most important elements that the company holds. It focuses on allowing to see the leaves that are made, the total attendances, and the total absentees that are being seen. It could be based and drilled down based on departments and all other elements which could give a user or an admin or a company's owner a perspective or a point to focus on where they can actually see the company's performance. We have implemented drill down as well, which further lets us down to gauge what specifically and what departments the KPI measures are and what metrics we can observe from our system. So we have very well used the available data coming from our system, so we are able to make the most out of it. Going towards the live attendance module, which is basically focusing on the live attendance that falls once an employee comes and shows their face at the machine. So this is basically that attendance which actually comes along when a user shows their face on a facial recognition terminal that falls around here. So this actually allows us live monitoring. Further, moving on to the access control module, which is actually one of those major modules which actually focuses on allowing access to different employees based on their credentials, based on their departments and their designations. If we go into the batch update option, we can observe that there are two options, which is departments and designations, which actually allows us to allow access into specific rooms based on whatever the departments or whatever the designations is. For example, CEOs or the CTOs are allowed to actually visit only the specific conference room. So we can update using this module over here. Moving on, we'll move towards our next module, which is room booking. So when you talk about room bookings, this is one of those modules where we're actually doing the facility management. And in this, we can actually make reservations of employees of or anyone who actually wishes to book a room. If we select the book room option, there is a feature ability to actually book a room that is basically based on. So when you press book a room, the thing that we can actually see are the employee's name, the number of people that are going to be present in the room, the date and time from, and as well as the room capacity. So the room capacity actually allows us to make sure that whatever room we are selecting, the number of people who are entering are made sure that are less than that or equals to that. So this is one of those modules that we have, which actually focuses on the facility management. All the validation and the logical checks are implemented. So uh, the the checks are implemented so that nothing wrong from the user side can be put in. And the UI UX is very much self-explanatory. There is an option for edit and there is an option for delete for each room booking that is made. Moving on, we'll move towards our employee module. The employee module is one of those main modules where actually the main user gets connected towards with our system and is added. So when we click on add employee, we can actually see how what credentials do go in while adding an employee, where a picture is needed, a unique employee ID is needed, the names, the other details. And as well, there comes the option where we actually select the shift timings, which are set in a different module, and also accessible locations, which actually focuses on what type of a location is the user allowed to enter in. So that is about, and the validation checks are implemented as well. So going back, we can see the employee list, and within the employee list, we can observe that there are multiple options. The first option is for edit. The second one is for viewing. The third one is actually to generate reports. And the fourth one is actually to set the access credentials for the user who might log in from the user side. So we can type in the password field the password for that user, and based on that email and password, they can log in. One more thing that I wanted to show is the report field. When we click upon the reports option for a specific employee, we can actually gauge from which time to which time do we need the attendance. And regarding the edit part, we can actually focus on how to specifically to edit and what new things need to be changed. The search bar is also implemented over here, and the search bar is basically focusing on searching the employees. And the search is implemented based on name, the department, the designation. And we can further now move on to the payroll module. And the payroll module is basically having two things, which is salary and bonuses. So in the salary, we can actually see the salary, we can edit them, we can batch update them. And in the bonuses tab, we can see the bonuses that a company sets for an year. There could be different bonuses, and those bonuses can be added and applied to the employees. Moving on towards the leave request module. The leave request module has a pending leave, there are approved leaves, and then there are rejected leaves. An admin can actually approve or reject a leave, and based on that, the leave will enter. For example, if it's approved, it will go to the approved tab and we can see it in the approved tab. So that is how the leave request can be managed. The leave is actually generated from the user side, so which we'll later show on. And there we can actually see the leaves. Now we come to the shift timings. This module is basically focusing on setting and making shifts. We can add a shift, we can delete a shift, and the shifts are basically added based on the start times, the end times, and from which period to which period that the shift will go to. We have break time as well. We have shift types, and we can add in a note or description based on the shift. So going back, we now will go towards our device management module. The device management module is basically about our facial recognition terminals or end devices, hardware devices that we are using. So currently only one device is connected, as we had one device which is online and active and connected to our system, and which here we can only add those devices which are actually approved to be connected and are allowed to be on our system. We can edit and delete them as well. Now we move towards the location module. This location module is actually based built up on the devices module. There is an example that one location, for example, any office or any wing of an office can have multiple in and outs. So basically focusing on that, made sure that all those devices can be grouped and made into one location. If we click on add location, we can create a new location, and in this we can add in a location name, the capacity for it, the devices, and as well as the features that can be existing in that room, and also set the bookable tab as yes or no. If the bookable tab is set as no, then this room or this location is not available for booking. We can edit and delete a location as well, and further we'll move towards our parking module. So if we click on assign new space, we can actually create new parkings, and based on that, we can make new parkings and allot different employees the different parking slots that are available. We're able to add in a car RFID number and a car ID, which both are unique. And based on that, we are able to generate a QR code, which is actually sent towards the user side as well, and the user can then based on that into their car parking. Moving towards now the next module, which is organization hierarchy. The organization hierarchy module is basically implementing any companies or any university or any place where this software is used to implement the hierarchy that is there. So we can set department names and the designations. That can be done in the add department tab. So here we can, add different departments. We can add a department and then add its designations. Multiple designations can be added, and these can be edited and deleted as well. Now moving towards the visitor module. So in visitor module, we have two things. One is visitor request. And visitor request is when an admin actually generates a visitor request based on the credentials that are required. And as well as when the visitor request is created, the data is live transferred towards the facial recognition terminals and devices, which can actively live be updated and then start on that work. Then we have the visitor list. Over here in the visitor list, we have a pending tab, an approved tab, and a history tab. So here, an admin can actually approve and reject a visitor. Furthermore, now moving towards our last module, which is the emergency module in the admin panel. This emergency module basically focuses on making emergency protocols that may be important towards a company. A new protocol can be created by clicking on the new protocol button. And when the new protocol button is clicked, we can see multiple options that are to be mentioned, as we can select multiple locations in which that protocol would be active. We could set the doors as opened or as closed once the protocol is activated. Now we'll be moving towards the user side view, and we'll be sharing how a user can access the system and what other KPIs or important elements they can see. Over here, we can see the picture of the recent picture of the user, of the employee, their email, their salary, their positions, and as well as their passwords. They can also observe their shift timings, the latest shift timings they're set to, and the accessible locations, which is actually important. The important KPIs that a user can actually see is the attendances, their absences, and their late marked attendances. Furthermore, we have a parking QR code, which is actually to get into any parking when they are actually visiting the company. Then we have two other options. One is view attendance. In the view attendance tab, a user can actually see in detail depth of what their attendances are like based on the calendar view. And there are color coded marks to easily be able to identify when they were on time and when they were absent or when they were late. Over here, the user can also generate a leave request. And once a user generates a leave request, it actually reflects on the admin side, and from that admin side, the admin can actually accept or reject the leave. Moving back, we can go towards the main profile page where we can also file a visitor request. And the visitor requests module is basically based on whenever a user wants to invite any person towards the company, they can automatically generate a request from here. which the admin can again accept or reject. And once it is accepted, the device's data is lively sent towards the facial recognition terminals where it is accepted. So that is all about our time attendance and access control software, which is basically more of an HR solution and focuses on all the integral parts of a company or an organization. I hope you liked it.